All right, now, um, really, like, I would like to learn a little bit about like the general histories of both Mars and Venus. I mean, obviously, we can sit here and talk about this for, hundreds of hours and barely scratch the surface of their entire histories. I mean, I'm sure they have millions of years worth of history, but like, if you don't
Only
mind, like,
inside for it there.
yeah, like, if you don't mind, like, can you give me like a short, digestible version of their history, like in terms of how many billions of years ago or whatever they formed, and like when these native reptile and insectoid races first appeared, and when humans first appeared, and anything else you think might be interesting?
First, foremost, obviously billions of years old. Yes,
Uh-huh.
both of them. However, the human life is not necessarily native, even though some claim they are. So some of them might find themselves as natives, but the Venusians, for example, arrived there. They were also on Mars prior, and many on your Earth are previously from Venus and Mars. So women and men, so to speak, are both from Mars and Venus. Referencing one of your books that you have, right?
Right.
The culture there also influenced your culture to a large degree. The Venusians particularly more of the aerial nature. Talking about the humans now, yes. But they
Uh-huh.
arrived much later. Venus has not been evident by species that we're familiar with prior in terms of these upright, walking, talking beings, just similar gas-like forms or lower density beings, etc. Mostly gas-like beings. Mars, on the other hand, mostly insectoid and reptiles that have been previously there, native so to speak. Humans also have been there somewhat native, so also been seeded there from the area many also. There have been wars over there though, so many of them also had to leave after they blew up Maldek. Then they devastated Mars, so they had to leave again. Some went to Venus, some went to Earth. Particularly those of your own genetic strain that you belong to are linked to the Venusians. So some of them could pass off as your siblings. They might look more what you term perhaps more flawless. To us, you all look as you're familiar as hairless monkeys. But from your own beauty standards, from what we see in the West's mind, they would perhaps look impeccable. So they're perhaps more refined because also they have different environmental conditions. Yes. But many on your planet also deteriorated due to your conditions and they mixed in with visitors from our planets that they were genetically influenced after they arrived on the planet, etc. And therefore also are somewhat different than the original seeder, so to speak, yes? Just a
Uh-huh.
particular Venusian race. Now, the Martians are perhaps more of a darker nature in terms of complexion or especially hair and eye coloration, talking about humans, yes? The reptiles also have various racial features that you might not deem that entirely different from what we would certainly. They're different than we are, not as strong physically. They're also smaller, more fragile, but still much stronger than you will be. Insectoid beings over there are also very intelligent, as usually have more of a hive mind that might remind you of also to a certain degree of arachnids in terms of their function. There are not arachnids, but they have larger bodies, more tentacles is the wrong term, but appendages, yes,
Uh-huh.
they're very strong. They might look as monsters to you, but to another perspective, they're just typical insectoids and they look very majestic in their own form. There's large colonies over there, interesting beings. They're also listening in while we're talking about them. There's a certain interest in the conversation. Mostly because they also had contact with people from your world that venture off there. That's why they want to understand what strange harass monkeys there are on Earth that come up there and interfere with their lives. They have a very
Right.
detached outlook, even though you as a species make problems for them. They are not necessarily hostile. They just want to understand you because they want to know why you're bringing problems to the world. we're speaking on their behalf.
Well, since you brought that up, maybe you can ask them about the final question that I have on this topic. Currently, there are several commercial space companies racing to be the first humans, at least officially, to land on and colonize Mars. Some people even want to terraform Mars to make it more like Earth. How do you think the beings already living on Mars are going to feel about them apples, so to speak? I mean, is it likely to lead to confrontation?
It's mostly considered a joke by people from your own planet. They're already there because Mars has already been terraformed. There are already colonies, already from people from your own planet. Some from your region, some from the vessel's region, and obviously there also are monkeys that have settled there long before them. They have built many of the structures such as the Mars face, and the most of the roads that are buried are the insectoids we mentioned and the reptiles. But they're more worried about the human settlements that are already there, not about the so-called commercial space flights. There are already commercial colonies on Mars from Earth that are making problems mostly the military or your own military, the Western region's military, and then of course also the Empire also has a strong foothold there. But there's also collaboration.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of like, talking specifically like just about these commercial space companies. Like,
Yes, we're
do,
familiar. The idea mostly those that are from your planet are already there are the ones that are worried about how they're gonna deal with them.
yeah, that's
Same
something
way,
I'm wondering too.
people from the Wessel's region and the Freemasons that have had their own space program from your region had to deal with NASA and the Apollo program. That was mostly a farce. They had to set them up, so to speak, to a certain degree, deal with them, explain to them, yes, that's what's really going on. Now, can you please go home again and tell some story?
Okay. So like, I'm wondering if like, in a few years or whatever, like when these companies go to Mars, like, they're not going to be shot down or anything, are they? Like, are they likely to start any type of war or anything like that?
Houston, there might be then another problem. That's what's likely being to happen. Of course, at your current evolutionary state, how you're moving along. So likely what they're planning, especially the Illuminati group, but also others that are involved, they're being created other scenarios such as, yes, there's going to be a problem that will have to be dealt with in this regard. But not necessarily an outright war.
Uh, uh, that sucks.
Not
So,
really, it's quite in your own hands still. Depends how culture and your world evolves. But currently, it's unlikely that there will be what you consider a full disclosure. So there likely be another cover story for something being discovered there. So some people might learn something new, but unlikely things will be disclosed to the general public. At least not to the extent that things are known to your current governments. They will likely not disclose such more than absolutely necessary. That's not what they're planning to do. At least not what Mars is concerned.
right. Um, okay, well, thank you very much, class, for answering all these questions.